delighted to have our first featured reader who's come to us from Philadelphia. Lynn Levin is a poet, writer, and teacher with poems recently in the Hopkins Review, Artful Dodge, Boulevard, and Washington Square Review. She's published essays in Southwest Review and the Michigan Quarterly Review, and fiction in the Saturday Evening Post, Armadillo Bay, and Broadkill Review. Her most recent poetry collection, The Minor Virtues, was listed as one of Spring 2020's best books by the Philadelphia Inquirer. And we have copies here for sale, which I know Lynn would be happy to sign. So please do pick up a copy of that book. She teaches at Drexel University, and we're delighted to have her read for us now.
Thank you, David and Stephen. Great to see everybody here. St. Louis people, yay. Reunion, okay. So I'm going to start off with some poems from the Minor Virtues and then go a little into Miss Plastique. So the Minor Virtues has a section of poems in which I celebrate small practices that when described might possibly lead to something a little more profound. Or not, we'll see. The milk of human kindness. Once I had an epiphany in a church. It happened at a nursing mothers circle many years ago. We sat on folding chairs in the fellowship room, opening our peekaboo blouses, none of us modest, caught up in the rapture of that blessed year or so. We traded tips about work, daycare, breast pumps, which department stores had mothers' lounges, sisterly things. One night a new mom came to us, shouted with a less than look, as if she had no place among us, the lucky ones, the ones with plenty of milk. She said she failed at nursing, tried, but her baby never got enough. Confessed, she turned to the bottle. Then she unbuttoned her shirt, put her daughter to her breast, and asked us what she was doing wrong. I felt for her. We all did. The baby was trying, but coming up dry. Then the kid started to cry. Give me your baby, our leader said. She cradled the other woman's child in her arms and breastfed her. The little stranger latched on like a pro, drank her fill in the silent room. It broke on me like an egg. This was the milk of human kindness. Almost every other good thing I've ever seen has paled before the vision of that evening. Buying cage-free eggs. So this might be a small practice with good effect. Because the roadside stand squawked caged eggs and curiosity crooked its finger, my father swung our red Rambler up the dirt path to the farm, all of us coughing in the kicked-up dust. Such a cacophony of cackling in the cages, stacked like high-rise jails. Each hen in solitary, feeding, laying, the poop of the gals above liming the ones below, and the farm wife bragging about low overhead as the hens bumped up against their barred ceilings. Cheaper than the A&P, she said to Mom, who out of courtesy bought a carton. Back home, none of us could eat the caged eggs. Now, light my heart as I pluck a cage-free dozen from the grocery store shelf, shelling out more bucks for the good of the chickens. Eating an omelet, I feel almost immune to cholesterol. I picture the eggs gobbling fresh bugs, stretching their wings, strutting their stuff in the big chicken run. As they nest in their small chalet, their stolen children only briefly defended. The generous ladies live large. I claim my right to think they are contented. Thinking about nothing. It is not easy to think about nothing, but if I could master the dark art, I suppose that my thoughts would pass, not like trout, but the shadows of trout, over the bed of a sunlit stream. Who willingly stops scribbling on the slate, or wipes it clean without regret, or turns from the starry robes of why and ought to be? Even in slumber, the helpless brain is sleepless as a godwit or a swift, rifling through dreams. It is hard to think of nothing but the breath, may it not be labored, or the body, may it not be pained. To think of nothing, what a contradiction! The hound of distraction is ever at the heels. There will be plenty of time to think of nothing. But now a bother comes to the sensitive oyster, and the oyster imagines a pearl. The two-loop method of tying shoelaces. So it was a good discovery that a college girlfriend helped me with. The two-loop method of tying shoelaces. Still noosing a right loop with the left lace in the manner known as around the tree, I tied my shoes as they taught me in primary school and sauntered through my spring days with bows as skewed as my view of the world. Until my 20th year, when Norma Taylor spied my sorry shoes and taught me how to tie a two-loop bow. Try it this way, she said. It will change your life. And I was like a kid again, learning from a good teacher. These days I hitch myself with balanced bows. Least things first, I think. And I thank you, Norma, wherever you stroll, now that the air is crisp, the sidewalks strewn with gold. Song of my cell phone. I was very proud that Garrison Keeler read this on the Writer's Almanac. Song of my cell phone. I have seen the best minds of my generation clunking into buildings and strolling into traffic, wandering the streets looking for an angry fix, more likes, more followers, better-looking faces on the dating apps. Called away? I am always called away. Whatever is not in my presence, more filled with hope and promise than what is in my presence. Guilty, I have lain with my beloved, unable to resist the beep and bring, the breaking news, the time and temperature. In which destructive element should I immerse? There are so many destructive elements. The one beneath my feet, which is plenty destructive, and then all the other destructive elements. Horrible, gory, brilliant, super empowering, alive in the realm of code. Who today memorizes a phone number, reads a map, or calculates a tip in their head? I have lost those skills because my smartphone has made me a moron. And now I depend on my brain extension device for just about everything. Friends, I burst into your day, calling, texting, how are you? How is your health? What did you eat for breakfast? I sing the life electronic. Those I love engirth me with their emails, and I engirth them with my emails. Yet I miss the corded phones of yesteryear, with their clear reception and multiple extensions. And where have all the payphones gone that stood on street corners? Yours for a dime, then a quarter, then a lot more money. So great for making anonymous phone calls. I picture the orbiting angels miles above Earth, sending me signals, watching over me, maybe watching me too much. Oh phone, what is this soul but this eternal life in the cloud, from which nothing vanishes? Not even my most embarrassing photos and confessions, or misaddressed text messages, or overly emotional explosions that seemed so pithy at the time. Oh, reader, should you find these lines on a cell phone, I celebrate our connection and sing our connection. If you are the cell phone, I hope that you will not be cross with me, or if you are, forgive me with all your speed. And I'm very proud that this next poem was published in the Hopkins Review, and John Irwin was the editor who accepted it and worked with me a little bit on it. And this has an epigraph in Latin. It's from a Catholic office for the dead. I'm Jewish, but I like this phrase. And it's a timor mortis conturbat me. Fear of death disturbs me. Dilaudid. When on my deathbed once dilaudid, knocked me back to the black cat spur, time spilt its ink, and the dark prince took me on my narrow hospital gurney. All was fathoms. I cared not for calendars or clocks, desk or garden, or if I saw my husband more. I only knew the snake no longer flogged my gut. The drip potassium no longer seared my veins. My soul was calm, desire gone, and fear of death did not disturb me. Then hours, maybe a whole day passed. I came to, mourning by the midnight sun of the nurse's station. Easy, friendly talk of picnics and weekends at the shore lapped at my ears. I thought of Dilaudid, the drug I loved, the hero drug, its foot upon the neck of pain. I didn't need it anymore, but could have asked, been zeroed back. Note again the long black arms, the soul washed out to sea. But I knew envy then, envy of days that others picked, like plums from countless trees, and fear of death disturbed me. I'm going to switch to some poems about Lilith. So Lilith, many of you may already know this. She is a non-biblical character said to be the first wife of Adam. And Lilith and Adam had a real bad marriage, and they were quarreling, and Adam wanted to be on top during sex, and sometimes Lilith wanted to be on top during sex. So for various reasons, they divorced, and she became an evil spirit that flew around the universe, causing deaths of babies and having sex with men in their sleep. Yeah. So I believe that this myth has misogynistic origins, and I have tried to rescue Lilith and give her more of a personality and some compassion. Now, she's also still friends. She's friends with Eve. They have no hard feelings there between them. Eve and Lilith go to Macy's. In the fitting room at Macy's, Eve shimmies into a pair of leopard print leggings, then mocks a dance pose. OMG, you're hotter than a habanero in those pants, gasped Lilith. She slides her finger down Eve's shapely hip as though striking a match, that blows out her finger. Eve can't believe how good that feels to the cotton polyester spandex blend. Lilith always went for men in a big way, but maybe the oversexed act was overcompensation, a put-on. Maybe Lilith is gay. Maybe I'm gay, thinks Eve, wishing her friend would touch her again. In the Macy's fitting room with the triple-paneled mirror, the women's figures mingle and multiply. Looking at one of herself, Eve moves her right arm, but in the mirror, it looks like her left arm. She can't be sure which image reflects the real Eve. In the champagne of the moment, she turns to Lilith, the real one, the warm one, intending to bestow upon her an air kiss of gratitude, at most a smooch on the cheek. But Lilith catches Eve's mouth, draws her to her other self. Eve can't remember when she's ever had a kiss like that. Maybe she never has, never will again, so what is the point in stopping? The women linger in each other's arms as the hidden security camera looks on with its mysterious eye. And the women are okay with that. They know that eye sees all things, sees all, says nothing. Lilith at the cosmetics counter. She likes to shop. Lilith's face made a face at her in the lighted mirror at the cosmetics counter. Craggy, ravined, parched. That thing above her neck looked like the Sinai Desert. Yesterday, militants high on toxic rumors, baby killer, man raper, had run her out of town again. She needs some ego first aid. New address, new name, plastic surgery, all that in good time. You look as one who has returned from a long journey. This makeup will help, said the sales lady. She tilted her head toward Lilith as if to say, we're all in this together. Then tried to sign her up for a store credit card. 20% off all first day purchases, including cosmetics. The lady also happened to be missing a front tooth. Her false eyelashes were so thick she gave everyone the hairy eyeball. She began to fuss with her brushes, probably not clean, and pots of color, no doubt contaminated by frequent double dipping. Lilith was about to put herself under the other woman's power when she detected a whiff of sabotage in the jasmine of her perfume. Advice from an old lover tapped Lilith on the shoulder. Never buy makeup from someone who's not as good looking as you. Lilith glanced at the high-def mirror. The wilderness of her face looked back at her with weird familiarity. Haggard is good enough for me, she decided, thanked her saboteur, and slid from the chair. She knew her fate was a bitch, but it was her bitch, and that was the beauty of it. I'll close with a milder one. This is a rondel, and it is called The Consummate Hour. In the ghostly consummate hour, when your body's next to mine. We rest as tree and troubled vine, mulling the likely horror of never having found each other. Never finding happens all the time. In the ghostly consummate hour, I like your body next to mine. The lost years will never be ours, but we won't dwell on that. We'll find our autumn as gold as springtime. We'll live like bees and flowers, at home in our consummate hours. Thank you. Thank you for listening.